Hi everyone, welcome back to Kidding Around. My name is Melanie Smith and I am so happy that you are here with me today for another Masterpiece Monday. Today we will be talking about the painter Gustav Klimt and one of his famous paintings, The Tree of Life. Before we do that though, if you like what you're seeing here and want to follow along with all of Kidding Around's videos, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also if you really enjoy what you're doing here, please share us with your friends. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to talking about Gustav Klimt. Here is a picture of him. He was an Austrian painter and was primarily known for his portrait and landscape paintings. Though he was Austrian, he was heavily influenced by Japanese art and methods. He was born in Austria-Hungary in 1862 and he was one of 7 children. His family was very poor when he was a child, but he was able to attend a school of applied arts and crafts. While he was attending that school, he, a brother of his, and a friend of theirs began working together. They called themselves the Company of Artists, and they, along with a teacher from their school, began to paint several murals in a local museum. After leaving the school, he became an artist in his own right, and we can definitely see this by his many, many paintings. Here is a picture of one of his most famous paintings called The Kiss. It is in a section of his work known as the Golden Phase, and during his Golden Phase, he often used actual gold in the form of gold leaf on his paintings. You can see that used here. You can also see his use of patterns and mosaics. Aren't they amazing? Now let's look at another one of his art pieces. This one is known as the Tree of Life. You can see that there are 3 distinct sections to this. There's the tree in the middle, and then there's a standing female figure and an embracing couple. And they are all filled out with beautiful patterns and mosaics. The Kiss and the Tree of Life are 2 of Klimt's most famous paintings, and I'm sure that you can see why. Aren't they striking and eye-catching? Well, we are going to use Klimt's Tree of Life today as the inspiration for our own art project. His was a painting, so it was 2-dimensional, but we are going to use it and make a 3-dimensional version of it. You can see in my sample here that I used the colors that Klimt used in his paintings. But I thought today, in the one that we do together, I would switch it up and I would use completely different colors. It's up to you, whichever route you choose to go, and you might even decide to mix it up a little bit. Use some of his colors and some of your own. But no matter which colors you use, the materials will be the same. You will need 4 pipe cleaners, you will need a pair of scissors, a glue stick, a couple pieces of Scotch tape, a paper plate, and then you will need several pieces of colored tissue paper. And you can use any color you want. You can see these are more like the Klimt version, the Klimt color palette, and then these are the colors that I am planning on using today. Have fun with your choices. All right, let's get started. Okay, the first thing that you are going to do is take your pencil that I forgot to tell you that you needed. I'm so sorry. Why do I always seem to forget the pencil? Well, just so you know, in general, it's always a good idea to have a pencil around, and definitely when you're doing kidding around videos, right? All right, well, so you're going to take that pencil and you are going to draw a circle on your paper plate. The circle that you're drawing is going to be the base of your tree. So, I don't know, it takes up most of the surface of the paper plate. You could make it bigger too if you wanted. I would recommend not making it any smaller because that base gives your tree stability, and if you get it too small, your tree won't be able to stand up very easily. So I'm going to draw a circle about that size. Nothing perfect, nothing exact about it. There's my circle. All right, then after you've decided what colors of tissue paper you want, then you get to cut them and paste them onto this circle. So I have decided that I am going to use yellow, bright pink, and orange. So the way that I am going to get the squares that I need to cover the base of this tree is to cut a strip of each color of my tissue paper. I've mentioned before that cutting tissue paper is a lot easier if you can cut several layers of paper at once. So the best way that I have found to do this is to cut a strip off of each paper, each set of papers. And the nice thing about cutting a long strip is that you can still use the bulk of this paper for a gift or for something else. So it doesn't take a big square out of the side of it. It just takes a tiny little inch off the one side. All right, so then once I have my strip, then I just cut into squares. You don't need too many for this project, and the more colors that you use, the less of each that you need. So I have my yellow, now I'll cut my orange. You know, you might be tempted to cut all of your colors all together in one strip, and that may work, especially if you're only using one piece of each color. The thing about that is that it makes it a little bit harder once you go to glue them on. You'll just have to sort your squares out. It's up to you, however it works best for you, and use the materials that you've got in the best way that you know how, right? All right, so now I'm cutting my pink, my last little strip here. I love tissue paper for crafting. It's relatively inexpensive, and it just usually adds so much color and life to your projects. Okay, so there are my 3 colors. Now I'm going to glue them on. And I'm going to glue them on in a way that I am overlapping the circle that I just drew. So I'll glue on one. So you saw that I just took my glue stick and I just glued on, I don't know, not quite half of the circle. I'll continue to glue on as I go. But I figured that I would try to get my tissue paper all stuck down before the glue completely dries out. If I had glued the entire circle, I might not get to the glue before it lost its stick. And of course, if that happens, that's not a big deal. You can just glue over it, but I had a plan, so I thought I'd tell you about it. All right, so I am just sticking these randomly. Of course, you can put them in a pattern, or you can go, very much. You can look at Klimt's Tree of Life painting, and you can see how closely you can get your colors and your patterns to align with his. The beauty of art is that it's all up to you. You get to decide how you make it beautiful. And the other thing that's great about it is no matter what you do, it will be beautiful. All right. Yes, I am really loving these colors together. They feel like a party to me. Don't they just make you feel happy? It seems this is a little bit springish, but I say that we can do it any time of year, right? All right, and you know what? You saw that one just wrinkled up a little bit. That's okay. Guess what? You just added texture to your project, right? All right, I think I need some orange over here on the edge of the circle. And there we go. You can see that I completely overlapped the circle. That's okay, because that means when I cut it out, my paper, my color will go clear to the edge of my circle. Now I'm just going to take my glue stick, and where I see any of these standing up a little bit, kind of where they've overlapped another piece of tissue paper, I am just going to glue them down a bit. It's an extra step that's not really necessary, but I just wanted all of my papers to lay flat. Okay, so now you are going to make the trunk of your tree. So I mentioned that you need 4 pipe cleaners. If you are planning to do a pattern kind of like this one, you need 2 of each color. But of course you can use all the same color. You could use 4 completely different colors. It's all up to you. I'm going to follow along with this pattern even though I'm not using the exact same colors, and I'll show you how I do that. So I have 2 pipe cleaners here, and they're 2 different colors, and then I am going to simply twist them. I start at the bottom, twisting, so I can just get it started, and then once that is started, I can just go up closer to the top or on the other side of the pipe cleaners, and just with my fingers just kind of start twisting them around each other. You see how I'm doing that? And if you twist it tighter, then you'll have more spirals of color on your trunk. And if you twist it looser, you'll have fewer spirals. It's all up to you. Oops, and then I got a little bit carried away. So then you go about that far. So a little past half, and then you can stop twisting. And then these two pieces are going to be the two tops of your tree. So then you can decide how you want to twirl them. And so I'm just going to make them into some curly cues here. And you can make them either way that you want. You know, Klimt's tree of life has spirals going all which ways, right? They go up and they go down. All right, there, I like the top of my tree. So now I am going to put these 4 branches on. So again, I am going to take my other 2 pipe cleaners and I am going to twist these 2 around the trunk. You'll notice that I did not twist these 2 together before I twisted them around the trunk. Okay, so there's what it looks like. It kind of looks like a stick person with 2 heads. And then you can take these pipe cleaners and you can twist them and curl them any way that you want. You can look at Klimt's Tree of Life for inspiration, or you can just do whatever you want. You know, the colors that I'm using, to me, remind me of Dr. Seuss. Okay, and then you see that I had my initial pipe cleaners on this side. We're going to put both pink on the top. So I decided to just twist them so that now I will have a pink on the top on this side and a white on the top on this side. All right, so now I'm going to twist these around. You know, if you want really tight spirals, you can wrap your tree branches around a pencil. That gives you really tight ones, and then you can spread it out as you want. It's up to you. You could probably even wrap it around a glue stick. If you didn't want them tight, but you wanted them very circular, use a glue stick to wrap your pipe cleaners around. See? There you go. All right, well, I'm going to finish shaping this one. The fun about this is that you can shape and reshape and shape and reshape, get it the way you like it, and then if you want to change it, you can change it. You can change it back. Pipe cleaners are so forgiving. That's what's great about them. All right, so I like that. I think I am going to make this tree go just a little bit taller. So I'm going to twist it. See, I can just easily change it however I want. Okay, so when you get it how you want it, then you are going to attach it to your paper plate. Remember, your paper plate has still, your base still has not been cut out, and that is correct. We are going to attach it right now, and I'm going to use some scissors, and I'm going to try to find the center of the plate, and I am going to very carefully stick my scissors through to make a hole. This is not necessarily an easy task, so you might want to ask a grown-up for some help with it. You definitely want to be careful because you don't want to really jam the scissors through and end up cutting your other hand. All right, once you have that done, you know, I think I have changed my mind. I think we're going to leave the tree here for now. I know I said we were going to attach the tree, but I think it would be better probably to cut it out first. So I still have my hole. It's good to make your hole. You have a little bit more to hold on to. But then after you make your hole, go ahead and take your scissors and cut out around your circle. And remember, because I've overlapped the tissue paper over the side of my circle, I will be leaving a little bit of tissue paper on the piece that I'm not using. But that's okay because it gets my color clear up to the edge of my base. Alrighty, that looks pretty good. It looks, paper plates sometimes can be a little bit hard to cut, so you can go back and trim up your little squarish points if you have any, if you want to. All right, then, once we've got that done, now we will attach our tree. So I am going to unswirl just a little bit down here at the bottom. And I'm going to straighten that out, and then I'm going to put them both through that hole, and I will turn over my tree and its base, and then I will take those two pieces that I uncurled, and I am going to tape, and I'm going to separate them out just like that. Then I'm going to take a couple pieces of tape and tape those down to make sure that they stay where they're supposed to stay. Okay, And then once I have done that, I will turn everything over and I will stand up my tree of life. This is also a great time to make some final adjustments. As it stands, you will see it differently than when you were folding it as it was laying down flat. All right, and it may take a little bit of finagling to make it stand. That's okay, it will eventually stand. It just depends on the weight and the load of the way that the curlicues pull your tree. And you can see even mine, I didn't quite make my hole in the center, I can see. So I am going to give my tree just a little bit more stability by folding over some of that pipe cleaner there. And it is not standing. This is a perfect example of how sometimes you just have to keep working at it. So I'm going to keep working until it stands. And there it goes. Let's see. Let me see if I can get it to stand just a little bit straighter. Once I get it to stand one way, then it goes backwards or forwards. All right, here we go. This is art in action. I'm showing you that it doesn't always work out perfectly the first 7 or 12 times, right? Okay, come on, pipe cleaners, I'm the boss of you. All right, oh, look at that, finally. But see, it will work. Well, I am so glad that you came today to talk and learn a little bit about Gustav Klimt. I would love to see your trees of life. Please ask a parent to take a picture and put those on our Facebook site. Please also plan to join us on Wednesday for a Wanderlust Wednesday lesson. I can't wait to travel with you. Well, thanks again so much for joining me and making this great tree of life. Thanks for kidding around with me. I will see you next time.